Hi friends, my name is Chris Beckman. I'm the corporate chaplain for Ebenezer, and this is a series of devotions and reflections that we've been creating during this time of the pandemic to keep our communities connected to one another. We also are producing a weekly worship service. If you're interested in those or any of these, please reach out to your activity director. Today's reflection is number 23 in our series, and the title of this reflection is Out of Yeast. Out of Yeast. The other day I was traveling to Target, and I was pulling into the parking lot and not really paying all that much attention, and I drove by the front door, and attached to the front door was a big sign, one of those white erase boards, and at the top it said, out of. And I thought, well, that's kind of odd. I suppose they're going to say they're out of toilet paper or, the only thing on the whiteboard was out of yeast. Yeast, the stuff you make bread with. And I thought, well, is this World War II? Are we rationing here? Are we running out of things? I thought we would have run out of rubber gloves or Clorox wipes or even toilet paper, of all things today. But the sign said we are out of yeast. You may know this, or I'm going to tell you, that one of the things that has been most interesting about this time of pandemic is how many people are learning to bake bread. They're using flour and yeast and water and salt, just like people of old did. A lot of them are a little bit worried that there isn't going to be bread, which I think is a bit of an overreaction. But the better part, I think, is that people are reclaiming old and healthy traditions. So they're learning to bake bread from scratch. They're doing it artisanally, so they're using whole grains and other activities. And they're finding that baking bread the way our mothers and grandmothers and great-grandmothers did is actually becoming a high-quality way of life. Who would have known that during this time of pandemic that one of the little gifts and one of the little blessings was that people might be returning to something simpler and healthier and even more beautiful. I had a friend the other day who reached out to me and asked if I had ever done canning. And one of my things on my bucket list is I actually want to learn to make sauerkraut. I've got this incredible Red Wing crock, one of these 10-gallon crocks sitting in my basement. And it would be the perfect thing to make sauerkraut. Now, when I told my mother about this, she looked at me as I was about as crazy as they come. You can get sauerkraut in the can! But the point of some of this, of making your own bread, of canning your own tomatoes, of learning to make sauerkraut, is not so much that it's cheaper or less salty, but it's a quality of life. It's helping us to regain connections to older traditions, some of which are healthier and more beautiful. And frankly, as people of faith, I wonder if a lot of people nowadays who are taking yeast and learning to proof it, who are taking flours that have been hand ground or are whole wheat, who are learning to knead bread and watch it rise, and learning to find ways to make the crust crisp and robust, who are learning the beauty of eating homemade bread that comes hot out of the oven and slathering it with homemade butter and jam from a lovely pot. I wonder if those people in this wonderful new tradition of learning to make bread are really understanding, and maybe for the very first time, that prayer that we pray all the time. Give us this day our daily bread. How much of us have said that prayer over and over and over? I've even wondered, give us this day our daily bread? Well, all you got to do is go to the store. You got the Wonder Loaf, or you got the loaf from the French Meadows, or you have bread that is so easy to come by. How many of us now are learning the deep connection to baking and the dailiness of baking bread and the connection to the earth and the gathering of seeds and the harvest, and the reason that Jesus chose bread as the sign and symbol and presence of his body in this world. Give us this day our daily bread. May you find plenty of bread and fresh jam and warm butter for this journey ahead. Blessings now and blessings on the journey ahead. Bye for now.